What's good? I'm about to make a video. I probably wasn't even gonna make it at first. I was gonna make the video, but it's like some things like you read in the Bible and like, okay, that part of the story sounds like this, but when you take in the whole story, like, mm, the point you was gonna take from the story ain't so much there the way you thought it was, and you just have a whole nother point. But I'm gonna get on into it. I just get into it.
And like many stories in the Bible, the more you look at it, the more complicated this one is. When David was about to die, he instructed his son Solomon, I'm about to leave this world. Be strong and mature. Fulfill your duty to the Lord your God. Obey his directions, laws, commands, rules, and written instructions as they are recorded in Moses' teachings. Then you'll succeed everything you do wherever you may go. You'll succeed because the Lord will keep the promise he made to me. If your descendants are faithful to me and all their hearts and lives, you will never fail to have an heir on the throne of Israel. You know what Joab did to me and the two commanders of Israel's army, Abner and son of Ner and Amasa son of Jether. Joab killed them when there was peace. He shed blood as if it were wartime. Their blood he stained the belt around his waist, shoes on his feet. Your wisdom, use your wisdom. Don't let the gray-haired old man go to his grave peacefully. Be kind to the sons of Brazini from Gilead. Let them eat at your table. They helped me when I was fleeing from your brother Absmal. Now, here's where things get weird for me. Now, first off, Joab, it says, is Zariah's son. So, Joab is actually David's nephew. And he was a commander in his army. Uh, he actually helped him with the whole Uriah Bathsheba situation. Like, apparently, like that was like your right hand man. Like, there were several situations where David had questions as to what to do, and Joab was like right there, like he got him through the struggles. I, while not directly mentioned in this, I do believe the actual situation that was the problem between David and Joab was Joab killed his son when Absalom uh, he did try to overthrow David and was eventually vanished, but he came back and he wanted to speak with his dad, but Joab was like and he actually killed him at the gate. David told him not to kill his son. Like he had another way he was gonna work it out, but Joab, he just the diehard, like nah, no disrespect shall be like zero, zero fucks given on disrespect. Like if you disrespect, it's over with. And Joab, Abner. Abner killed Joab's brother, so they try to say that ain't the reasoning, but yeah, you see David like kind of think like that's the reasoning. Like so, yes, Joab did do some things, but most of the things he did was at David's direction, or just Joab taking it up on himself to do things for David. So I'm like, you kind of like at first think like, well, Joab is just clear cut a villain. Like, no, no, no. And then let's think about this also. David is the king. Like, if David wanted to do something to the man, why ain't he do something to the man? I think this is more like politically motivated than like him doing something. Cause here, I'm a, I can have like I have two, I guess two logical reasons on why David said what he said. The first reason was David was like really intertwined with a lot of the stuff that Joab did. So like if you that's like the pot calling the kettle black. Like if you was involved with most of what he did, and yeah, he might not have did one or two things the exact way you wanted them done. Like, well, he probably should have been punished for that. Like when that happened, not like just let it ride and act like everything cool. The other reason I would see, and this is just an idea I thought about, like, well, what was the reason that he told Solomon? Why did he tell Solomon to do it instead of like him doing it himself before Solomon even got there? The second reason would be Joab. I don't know if he would have fully accepted Solomon as being king, because Solomon, like by right, like probably shouldn't have been king just because like he had older brothers and he shouldn't have been like in line to be king, especially with the whole Bathsheba controversy with David. Like so, right, that whole part. Like Solomon was pretty much just born out of sin all the way around. So yeah, I can kind of see that too. I don't know. This is just one of them, like, this is complex and just not as straightforward as I thought it would have been on the whole ordeal. I usually like to try to have some kind of point in like my videos, but it's kind of hard on this one. It's kind of hard to be like, it's not clear cut on one side or another. Was that really the right thing to do at the point it was done? 1 Samuel 18:7, and it's kind of interesting that goes to 187, which is like murder. But like, okay, as the women danced, they sang out, Saul has slain his thousands, but David his tens of thousands. Now, here's where I think this is actually important and relevant. See, that's how David got on. Like, that was the moment when Saul knew that David was going to become king. So, I don't know. Like, David was a commander under Saul, and Joab was a commander under David, but, God chose David to, like, be the heir to the throne of Israel. So, was David kind of like secretly like thinking, Joab might become king unless I tell my son to go and knock him off?
Yeah, this is one of them, like, I want to say it was probably just political reasoning, with the Joab. Like, yeah, he did probably do something wrong, but the things that he did wrong really probably saved David's life. I mean, the Abner situation, I can kind of see that. Like, David was fond of Abner, but Abner was from the other side, and he was really talking down on David before he got in David's face. So I can still kind of see, like, Joab's logic with that. Like, nah, you ain't gonna just drop one side and then move to the other side, and now I'm trying to fight for my job from you, and you was just on the other side. I can kind of see that. And they said, I don't know. Now this is one of them can go either way. Yeah, Abner did kill Joab's brother, but it was in war, and they basically said that Joab just like looked at that as being it was honorable since it was in war, but it was not in war when Joab killed Abner, and he tried to say it wasn't to avenge his brother's death. And I mean, at the same time, right, Solomon wasn't even really, from what I'm seeing, he wasn't really trying to avenge his brother's death, because Joab did kill Solomon's brother too. But yeah, I don't know on this one. This is like 6 in one hand, half a dozen in another. And at some point, which I don't really see a lot of people making this point so much, but ain't David as guilty as Saul was? Like, at this point? I mean, like, yeah, at this point, I'm just kind of like, about this one. Like, I don't really just, it is not cut and dry enough to be like Joab was just all the way wrong given this situation. Like, no, like, yes, we're clearly like killing is wrong, but I don't think that's the reasoning, though. I don't think that's the reason. What's y'all's opinion? I really want somebody type in the comment. What do they think? Like, what's your opinion?